What's up guys, welcome back to my channel Anime Fiction. I'm back on the last episode of what if Naruto was the Dark Lord of Darkness, the end. And if you did enjoy the video, give this video a like, and if you're new to my channel and like my content, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more crossover fiction. So now let's begin this new video.
Chapter 15 Illusions Hallway. Naruto looked down at the setting sun. They were at the extreme end of a long corridor, which was inconvenient. Rushing down the hall, Naruto pulled his sword and prepared to swing it when he noticed him waving his hand in the air, causing some white orbs to fly. He rolled quickly beneath the attack, avoiding a hail of bolts coming at him. To avoid another tremendous flash of magic, Naruto dodged the arrows and hid behind a pillar. When it hit the pillar, he heard him hiss. Naruto sprinted around the pillar once more, but Gwendolyn noticed him approaching and opened fire with another volley of magical orbs. Naruto had to run and roll precisely to avoid each orb. He did, however, notice that Gwendolyn began glowing gold and attempted to swing at him when in range. But his blow passed right through him. He eventually heard the hissing sounds all around him and went down the corridor looking for him. He couldn't see anything in either way, which was terrible. Where did he go? Naruto heard the hissing noise again and felt something move close to him. He ducked down and dashed to the two pillars, evading a hail of white orbs targeted at him. How sad. Thou will die here as a herdic, Naruto snarled. I'll show you, bitch. Naruto noticed another set of orbs hurtling at him, but this time the direction could be traced further down the hall. Naruto could only keep running as he saw Gwendolyn reappear. He avoided being hit by any of his strikes by dodging the spells and taking another swing at him, but he soon felt something stop him. He saw a metal arm guarding him in front of him and was perplexed because when he looked up, he saw a familiar golden giant. What in the fuck? Naruto jumped back to avoid being slammed into the ground by a massive hammer. How? How are you still alive? The aforementioned behemoth groaned before charging at Naruto with his wild swings. Naruto just moved beneath one of his blows and slashed at his armored legs with his sword, causing blood to pour out and cover his face. Ignoring the blood, he saw the creature fall to the ground, the sword crashing through one of his eyeholes. The monster wailed in anguish as Naruto twisted his blade, and Naruto vanished in a blaze of light. He turned around to see the man standing there with a blank expression. Thou are impressive. Sad you didn't swear your loyalty to us. Now you must perish. They waved their palm in the air again and fired another array of white orbs, but Naruto simply rolled under them. He sliced the Dark Sun's cheek with a dagger, enraged them and unleashed more powerful blasts of white magic. While rolling around his assaults, Naruto hurled another dagger, which pierced the side of the Dark Sun. It shrieked in response to the agony and then vanished. Naruto muttered, "This is getting tedious." Naruto felt something behind him and quickly slashing backwards cut a shrieking Dark Sun, causing them to crash to the floor. The damage was serious, and blood was spilling all over the floor. Before aiming his blade at the god, Naruto stood on his chest and removed the talisman in his palm. It appears that this game of hide and seek did not last as long as I had hoped. Kill me, thy filthy enemy, and know that the sun's wrath will never let you leave this world in peace. Naruto smirked. Believe me, I would have killed you, but I know someone who would be upset if I killed their family. Who would thou be talking about? Guinevere, of course. The god groaned and writhed. You lie. Sister has long since been dead after betraying father with that filth Havel. She tried to usurp power from him and, with Havel, she planned on killing Seath for the atrocities he committed. She's dead, but she's also alive, and I know I spoke to her. Where thy? You have no proof of this claim. Now finish me and be punished by the sun. Naruto groaned and said, You promised to her. You promised her that you would protect her child, the one that Gwyn had sealed away somewhere. You made that one promise knowing that your father was going to kill her. The deity raised an eyebrow. Gwendolyn's pupils dilated. How? I told you, and she told me. Where? Gwendolyn writhed on the ground. Where is my sister? Naruto groaned and said, I can tell you, but it is a bit unbelievable. I don't care if you speak your piece herdic. Fine. Naruto told the writhing god his story there, telling them how they came to these countries, the dark beast he saw in the distant all those years ago, the sealing of the goddess within him, and his pilgrimage in claiming the Lord's soul and being able to read the memories of individuals he killed. At the very least, the more potent ones. Gwendolyn didn't believe the account, but after hearing him repeat specific events and memories, they were forced to recognize the reality of the scenario. I see, forgive me, the dark sun writhed less. I have failed to see your reason for lashing out. You knew my sister, which means you knew the truth, and so you saw it as blasphemy. Please forgive me. It's nothing, but I'm glad you're reasonable like your sister, ma'am. Gwendolyn nodded, and after being helped to their feet, they beckoned for him to follow them back to the castle. They came across the females who had the firekeeper at her wits' end, both groups with bruises from their horrific encounter. Enough. The group turned to face the god, who said, "Stand down everyone, these four are now our special guests." But, my lord, speak not. He has revealed something to me that proves he did not lash out at the illusion in vain. We will communicate in the castle. As you wish, my lord. The woman bowed to the god, allowing him to pass with Naruto close behind. The girls looked at Naruto, puzzled, and he signaled for them to follow the firekeeper back to her place. When the deity arrived in the main auditorium, where he fought Ornstein, he turned to face the audience. Please forgive the illusion. It was the last order Father gave me before he left to relight the first flame. It was a means to ease the undead's journey through the capital. It was a means to motivate them to help the gods in their quest to continue the Age of Fire. I see, the girls frowned. But why are you being so nice to us? A minute ago you were trying to kill us all, and now you want to treat us as if nothing happened? The deity laughed. Contrary to popular belief, Quelaag, I have no plans to do so. However, knowing that my sister has returned and that this young man is her chosen champion is more than enough. The sisters turned to him for clarification. Long story short, I came from across the ocean, ended up encountering some creature along the way, it spoke to me, and I woke up in the prison with the goddess inside of me. The group was taken aback. Well, Quelaag sighed, that would explain why you seem to be getting stronger after each battle and seem to understand certain aspects of our history, as well as why you appear to be better equipped to survive than most undead linger in this land. Naruto gave a nod. Yeah, I'm sorry for not telling you girls, but I thought it would be best to keep this to a need-to-know basis in case someone was after her soul. The ladies nodded. It's fine, just don't keep us in the dark about things like this again, okay? Sure thing, Quelana. The deity laughed. How sweet, such a tender moment among the party, it scowled, but I believe it is critical we get to the heart of the problem you are facing. Naruto gave a nod. Yeah, I'd like to know about this pilgrimage, this whole trial. It seems insane to ask just one being to complete it and arrive at the capital without a scratch on them, let alone make it this far without complications. I remember this knight at the prison telling me about it, but I didn't understand what its goal was. Ah, I see. You heard from an outsider then. Well, to put it bluntly, thy is to relight the first flame. You see, turning their head to the side, the Age of Fire is dwindling again. The age won't survive much longer without the relighting of the first flame. But there is no way to do it without Father to do such a thing and the Lord's souls not being passed on. So, I created the legend of the pilgrimage and Naruto groaned and said, so basically, this thing, he summoned the bowl, is meant to hold all the Lord's souls and allow me to face Gwyn in the cradle, where I must kill him and claim the last fragment before sacrificing myself to relight the flame, correct? He simply nodded. That is the goal of everyone involved in this cause. Naruto shook his head and said, well, I'm afraid I have no interest in relighting the flame. Ages end, new ones begin, and the longer you fight against this process, the worse your era will become. People will die, the undead will multiply, and greater atrocities will befall this land. The truth is, if you don't stop relighting the flame, who knows what you will unleash on the world. Gwendolyn laughed. I am well aware. Then why keep going down this road? For it was Lord Gwyn's wish, and I have no control over his wishes, any more than when he murdered my sister in cold blood. They frowned and turned back to the window. Do what you must, I don't care. Relight the flame or let it die and usher in the age of darkness, I don't care. In the end, I have completed my role in this matter. Naruto smirked. What's the matter with you? You're unusual for a Gwyn daughter. Perhaps because I'm a boy. Naruto was deadpanning. Fucking figured, he moaned. Another one turning out to be a dude, must be my luck. Quelaag raised her shirt. There's no need to be concerned about me, Naruto. I can assure you that I'm 100% female. Naruto locked his gaze on her breast before turning to hear a smacking sound. Sorry about that. None taken, he smiled, but hearing you've encountered a situation like this before, it doesn't surprise me. Yeah, Naruto said, frowning. So what are you going to do now? The god scowled. In truth, I shall reside in the capital until the time comes and our age ends. At this point, it is my duty to protect this kingdom from all who would dare to trample its hallowed halls. However, you are welcome to return and plunder all its secrets at your leisure, he smiled. Naruto bowed. I see, and thank you. Oh, Quitiva interrogated the god. What about the souls? You never told us where they are exactly. The god shook his head and said, you will see soon, but as you may have guessed, Nito, the witch of Izalith, Seath, the four kings, and the dark soul are all required to fill in the Lord vessel in order to reach Lord Gwyn. Naruto smirked. So, where should we start first? Gwendolyn shook her head. The choice is yours. Pursue whichever path you wish, but be warned. Tread carefully when traversing the abyss, as Ulasil did and soon paid the price. Ulasil. Yes. A kingdom in what is known as Dark Root Basin. It was once a thriving nation with powerful magic and great enchantments. However, ages ago, they traversed the abyss and awoken the being that resided there. In moments, its rage exploded out of control and soon its touch was reaching everything in sight and no one was safe from the abyss and its minions. However, Artorias managed to defeat the demon and save the kingdom. What happened to Artorias if he was successful in saving the realm? Gwyneth shook his head. No one really knows. He faded before we could see him again, which resulted in further loss of morale for those who knew him and were becoming more skeptical of my father.
I see. The dark soul is found in the pygmy, but there is no path to the ring city that I can see from here, so if you want to claim it for the ritual, you'll have to find one that doesn't linger in this world in some of the undead pygmies that are running around.
Naruto scowled. That's going to be a pain. Thank you, Gwendolyn, but I do have one more question. He motioned for him to continue. I was wondering if we could send people in need here? I'd hate to send people out into the world not knowing what might await them. Gwyneth frowned. As previously stated, victory brings the spoils, so if you wish to send them here, I will accommodate them. Thank you, Naruto said as he walked away from the royal room, leaving the deity alone once more.
Sister, you have chosen an unusual champion, he said, looking over the walls into the distance. Perhaps he is the one who will defy the fates. He smiled. We shall see.
Naruto and the girls proceeded to the bonfire and touched it, feeling the heat of the flames after experiencing the might of the Lord vessel. He saw images flash through the flames and understood he could go back to wherever he was before. So, by touching the flames, he moved through the visions of the other bonfires before arriving at Firelink. They were enveloped in smoke and emerged in the same location. Naruto frowned as he arrived at the shrine and spotted Loudherdic of the swamp and Logan on the ground with bloody injuries. Logan, Loudherdic, what has happened? Logan sneezed. That night you warned us about killed the firekeeper. We tried to stop him from fleeing, but he had allies and we were caught off guard, and he killed my student in the crossfire before fleeing. Naruto snarled, I fucking knew it. I knew we couldn't trust that asshole. Logan sighed. Yes, it appears he is fleeing to the capital now that the gate has been opened. I fear what he has in mind there. You must return soon and deal with him. Naruto turned to face the girls and nodded. Heal them up and head to the nearest bonfire. We're going back to the capital. The girls nodded and went about their business of mending Logan and the pyromancer. Naruto headed down to the firekeeper's shrine, noticing the blood in the cage and only a small bloody piece of fabric left behind. I don't understand why he did this. What did he stand to gain by murdering the fireman? She wasn't really a menace to anyone or anything. A firekeeper's soul is powerful. It has great power and immensity. Naruto, we may have to accept that he has already devoured her soul.
I get it, but why kill her? What did he gain from it, and who were the two allies mentioned?
I have no idea, but whoever they are, they must have a reason for joining this crazy quest, and they must be powerful. Yeah, that pyromancer and magic caster are no slouches. There's no doubt they could have easily handled most of the enemies we've encountered on this trip. We should proceed with caution when we return to the capital.
Right. Naruto returned to the group and noticed Logan and the pyromancer with frowns on their faces. Obviously, their bodies were fine and they were only resting, but Naruto swiftly dragged the girls along with him and they headed into town. They cut their way through the undead before arriving at the first campfire and scrolling through to reach the castle. Naruto pushed the blaze to the castle, and they arrived in a swirl of smoke and flame.
Alright, let's get started. The gang ran out of the room and returned to the main hallway, where they saw the Golden Knight. He was standing there with two others, murmuring something to himself, and Naruto detected it. He hasn't devoured the soul. Odd, why wouldn't he do so? It doesn't matter, we have to kill those three and get it back. If Firekeeper's souls work to the point where they are connected to the bonfire, that technically means we can possibly bring her back, right? In theory, yes, but that'll do. Naruto averted his gaze from his two companions. One was a sorcerer dressed in red robes with a distinctive embroidery pattern. On the opposite side, he noticed a knight with a sword and shield standing with the Knight of Lautrec, and he was perplexed because they appeared to be arguing. They gently go across the floor, motioning the girls to be quiet, and Naruto can hear them whispering in the background. You told us this would work. It did. No, you said it would be easy to kill the Firekeeper and flee. You didn't mention that we'd have two people breathing down our necks. We had to kill someone at the shrine before we were chased off by that bird. Yeah, we can't go back there now. It doesn't matter. All we have to do is bring this soul to New Londo, and the four kings will give us a place in their new world order. Bullshit. We don't know if we can even get close, and I told you I had no intention of returning to that cursed city. Your lord and master is the only reason it happened. Peeved. Maybe so, but at the end of the day, we buried New Londo and killed anyone who remained outside of those damn shadow wraiths. Now you want us to go back there after coming here. Yes, there is a rumor that the god Gwendolyn still resides here, and if not her, then the child Guinevere. If we can claim their souls, we will gain tremendous power and skill to aid our quest into New Londo. Naruto had had enough. He motioned the girls into position, the youngest drawing her fire bow and firing one arrow at the mage. When the arrow hit his chest, he coughed up blood and fell to his knees. An explosion ripped through the hall, leaving only a crispy corpse in its wake. When the warrior and Lauthuric knight spotted the direction of the arrow, they both drew their swords. Naruto dashed down the stairwell, drawing his sword. Well, if it isn't the Golden Knight, it's not the Golden Knight. I see, so you're the reason those three attacked me when I took the Firekeeper's soul? Yeah, and now I'm going to take your soul as payment, but first I have to ask why you need her soul and the god's souls? The knight laughed. Isn't it obvious? I need them for one reason and one reason only. To reach the abyss that is in New Londo. Rumors say there is a power so great in New Londo that Gwyn feared it. It is the reason he flooded the city. In the hopes that this power never re-emerges and threatens his domain. But he failed. The abyss continued to thrive in this city even now. It is said that the kings were. Naruto groaned and said, sacrifice others for your own blind ambition, huh? He shook his head. You're a waste of energy. Naruto raised his blade, come at me. The knight cackled even louder and charged at Naruto. Naruto had gained so much power and speed in the fight with Ornstein and Smog that this fight was nothing. The intensity of the bouts showed him how much he needed to develop, and thanks to Guinevere, he had now reached the level required to survive future battles without being in such tight circumstances. Naruto noticed him swinging his two swords at his head and body, hoping to strike one or both. Naruto took a step back from the strikes before cutting at his armor, causing him to retreat. The knight hurried to assist his comrade, but Quelana launched a fireball at him, causing him to flee. He grumbled. Fuck off, you heretical witch, she sighed and rolled her eyes. Do you have anything unique? The knight roared and advanced, only to have a flaming arrow explode at his feet, sending him flying backwards with a sword through his back. He coughed and said, and not like this. I can't afford to. He crumbled to dust, and the female's attention was drawn to Naruto's fight. He was avoiding the knight's frantic swings before ripping through his armor and left him bleeding all over the floor on the return. The knight sank to his knees, seeing blood seeping from all of his wounds, and unsure what he could do in this position. But he instantly jumped at Naruto, hoping to hit him. He avoided the jump by watching him roll through his action. When he turned around, he was met by a sword through the slits in his mask, causing him to scream. Until a blade pierced his throat and he began to gargle on his own blood. "See you in hell, traitorous knight." Before his body vanished, he gurgled some more blood. The souls and armor fell to the ground, and Naruto noticed that the firekeeper's soul was still intact. He reached down and touched the life in the soul before picking up the armor and causing it to vanish into his storage area.
They returned to the bonfire, where they saw the fire spiral and soon rematerialized the woman's body after pouring her soul into the fire and the fabric. Naruto smiled as he saw her on the floor, exhausted but obviously unhurt by the event.
But they couldn't talk to her, let alone move her, so he placed her on a nearby bed in another room while they all decided to get some rest for the next 3 days. Naruto sat by the firekeeper, smiling and dozing gently. "I'm glad she's okay. Indeed, you've always had a soft spot for those who have been wrongfully persecuted." "Yeah," Naruto said, leaning back. "Wake me up if she wakes up." "Got it." Naruto closed his eyes and soon fell asleep, along with the girls, who were also looking for places to do this in, with them all sharing one bed like they used to. The city is in complete darkness, with water flooding the streets. Nothing but corpses floated in the lake, and quiet filled the air. They noticed sinister people emerge from the sea, clothed in darkness and wielding dark weapons. They're all wearing heavy cowls that hide their faces. He saw one of them take one of the survivors by the face, and their screams soon filled the room. However, after a few seconds, they slumped to the ground with a thud and no evidence of life in their eyes. The figures continued to monitor the area, as ghosts and more black figures emerged from further within the city. Dark eyes appeared from the shadows. "Come seek me, Dark Lord. I know you will, and we will soon enter the age of humanity, the age of dark." Naruto bolted from his chair, panting. "Wait, what was it? Kit?" Naruto remained there, never responding Kurama or Guinevere's questions. All he could remember from that terrible memories were those bright orange eyes and the appearance of gigantic teeth. After a few hours, Naruto awoke and walked into the throne room to speak with Gwendolyn. The god appeared to be bored and glancing out the window. Naruto felt certain he was looking directly at something in the sky for some reason, but he couldn't place it. "Hey, Gwendolyn." The god shifted slightly. "How come you've come to see me so soon?" "Actually, we had a bit of a problem." Yes, that knight and his companions, they were quite audible in their approach. Naruto bowed. "Unfortunately, we got the jump on them, and after fighting your Ornstein, I didn't really struggle against him." "No surprise. You're quite strong in your own right, and with thy sister managing your souls and increasing your power and abilities, he'd be easy to defeat." "Yeah, we found the firekeeper's soul, and he was talking about something related to New Londo that had to do with the abyss in the Four Kings. What was that about?" "It is a dark piece of our history. Thou should ask sister about it, but I guess I can elaborate. The truth about New Londo's drowning was more systematic than one might think," Gwendolyn said as she stared out the window. Huh. Gwyn had learned from an ally that someone was guiding the Four Kings of New Londo, teaching them the ways of the abyss and the powers that dwell within absolute darkness. The kings themselves gained access to a power that would allow them to manipulate the souls of those they encountered and even teach their soldiers how to steal souls. "Yeah, the night wraiths, right? I saw them in one of the wizard's memories that I killed." "Ah, that one was there. He was one of many who abandoned New Londo, allowing it to become infested with undead and shadow beings all over." Naruto smirked. "Are there any more followers out there?" "No, most have fled or abandoned their duty. And those who did not flee either went hollow or were killed by the many creatures that wandered into their land." He turned to Naruto. "Be warned, New Londo is a dangerous place. With the wraiths you have no guarantee of surviving a one-hit encounter." Naruto bowed. "Well, I wasn't planning on visiting that city, but I do recall seeing something else in the vision that has me a little disturbed." The god looked at me. "I saw these dark orange eyes and large set teeth staring at me, and it said something about the Dark Lord seeing this vision, or something like that." "I see," moaned the god, "so it was true." "What?" "Beware, Naruto, if you truly intend to end this age and begin the next, beware the serpents with silver tongues, who will try to manipulate you and guide you down their chosen path. Naruto arched an eyebrow at this remark, wondering where it was headed. Naruto, on the other hand, should return to Firelink. Only there will you find the next step in your journey. Naruto frowned at the remark, but sighed, there was no use in disputing. Walking to the nearby bonfire, he teleported to Firelink, where he noticed the depressed guy from before had vanished. The cleric had vanished along with this other party who had arrived a bit ago, and Logan had vanished as well. Naruto cocked his brow. I guess they moved on because there wasn't a campfire. Definitely. What do you think Gwendolyn meant by this place being the next step in your journey? It's probably related to that warning he gave me. Naruto proceeded through the temple until he came across something frightening. It was a snake with a big head that just sprung out of a hole and moved side to side. As a result, he saw the creature's teeth were larger than life, and his eyes were more orange than the red set he's seen in the previous vision. Greetings, young undead. You have obtained the Lord Vessel and thus have been chosen to undertake this great task. I'm guessing you're some kind of guide. Not entirely, young one, for I, Frampt, am here to speak of the next step on thy journey into the unknown, for if one wishes to follow Gain's path, they must embark on the journey to find the Lord Vessels and return them to the cradle. Okay. As you know, Gwyn rekindled the flame and continued the prosperity of the Age of Fire, but there were those who sought to extinguish it, ushering in an unknown and terrifying age known as the Age of Darkness. Yeah, I know. Good then, thou knows that the only way forward is to relight the flame, as the Lord of Sunlight did long before. Naruto nodded, but rolled his eyes on the inside. You must claim the souls of Lord Nito in the catacombs, the soul of the Witch of Izaliath in her kingdom of Izaliath, and the fragments of Gwyn's soul held by the likes of Seath in the Duke's archives in the Four Kings of New Londo to help relight the flame. Naruto smirked. So, basically, you're saying I have to wage a one-man warpath down into the unknown, defeat beings that brought down the eternal dragons, and basically do all of this before the flame dies out, which could take a long time. Yes, thou understands one's role perfectly. Naruto groaned and said.
Okay. No pressure, but which one do you think I should start with?
Thou may choose one's path, for I have finished my role. Farewell, young one. May we meet when your path comes to an end. The serpent soon returned to the underground, disappearing in such a way that Naruto questioned the snake's size.
Am I the only one who wonders how this snake can pull his head down through a well as if it were nothing?
Frampt, I knew that snake had something to do with this mess. Do you know who he is? I don't know him, but I've heard mentions of him from Seath and my father on occasion, stating that he appeared a few years ago just before father went about relighting the flame, and I've long held the belief that he was the one who told my father how to go about doing this. But why? What would he benefit from the age's continuation? Who knows? Naruto, some beings have their own madness that makes sense to them, and for others, it is just that, madness. I guess you're correct. Naruto sighed. Nonetheless, he resembles the man from the vision I had. But he wasn't talking animatedly about the Dark Lord, so might this be a different serpent? I heard that there was a race of talking serpents that survived the age of the ancient dragons, but no one knows who they are or what their goals are. Personally, I believe they are just creatures vying for power in some way. And one is doing so during the Age of Fire. Yes, sadly, even I don't understand why or who is correct. At this point, Naruto, I believe it is best that you make your own decisions. Yeah, I kinda have, but this age has to come to an end. As much as I understand the land's wealth and how people are terrified, I just can't stand by this disaster any longer. Look at this, he said, turning his gaze to the metropolis. The undead are prevalent, lunacy is everywhere, death is polluting the environment, and some humans are even falling to ruins. Naruto groaned. At this point, I guess this is just nature striking out against everyone who try to reject it. But that still doesn't explain that one instance, he scowled.
Naruto shivered as he remembered it vividly. The gigantic sea creature that erupted from the depths of the waters and radiated strength simply stared him down as if he were nothing more than an insect. But whatever it said, which he couldn't recall, and something it was pointing to seemed to be propelling him. As though he had engineered his arrival in this place and expected him to do something for it.
But what exactly is that thing? Naruto rubbed his chin. I guess it's pointless to think about it. About what? That thing we saw when we first departed. Kurama simply grimaced and remained silent. Guinevere frowned but decided to let it alone for the time being because it was a personal matter. But she had certain questions she wanted to ask Kurama later. When Naruto returned to the capital of Orlando from the bonfire, he noticed that the females were still sleeping and the firekeeper was also sleeping. He reasoned that the long voyage and lack of sleep had taken their toll, and that they would benefit from the extra time. He spotted Gwendolyn continuing his view of the scenery as he walked to the royal room and decided to leave him alone. He left the castle and went around the city's upper parts for a while, but he felt lured back to the church for some reason. When he entered, he couldn't stop staring at the statue of Guinevere. Hello, Guinevere? Yes. How did you find it? To be adored by a lover. It was nice. Naruto, my husband, it was a difficult to explain relationship by modern standards. Were you planned? Yes, but that didn't stop me from trying, I swear to you. You don't have to justify your emotions, Guinevere. I was only wondering. Because I've never known such absolute love. He scowled at the statue. The one person on the planet who understood me was gone for the majority of my time growing up in the leaf and tried to tell me about the nonsense the leaf spewed. But I didn't pay attention to him. That was my biggest flaw and the one thing I wish I could alter. Listening to him, as he was correct at the end. Guinevere scowled. Naruto. Sorry for being a little melodramatic there, but seeing this and knowing you had someone or people that cared about you made me wonder whether it was always horrible.
No, it wasn't. Father wasn't always like this, but for some reason, his paranoia and fear became all the more real when he finally destroyed his enemies. Many of us wonder, was this always him, or did he become this way because of the influence of others around him? Did achieving everything he ever wanted drive him to this?
HMPH, I think Gwyn was always paranoid. As you said, he was the one who really pushed for the war to start. In the end, he was looking for any reason to gain more power than before. But when he conquered his enemy, he realized that he had no one to really oppose him and thus his power was secured. But in time, he knew that the end would come and those who were allies would eventually try to overthrow him like. Kurama had been thinking about the old guy ever since he had been with Naruto and seen all he had gone through, and the old man had said it was all necessary. He wondered if the man became insane or became so disconnected from the world that he didn't understand his decisions and actions were causing so much suffering.
Did he ever ponder how he felt about the Biju ceiling, and if he left the notes behind to do this to them? If so, were they merely a means to an end?
He had a lot of time with Naruto to think about it, and after watching how people treated him, he began to wonder whether they were all simply instruments for his so-called serenity. The more he thought about it, the more it stung. Kurama. Yes? You seemed to go quiet for a second. Sorry, I was just thinking about something. I see. In any case, I've made one vow to myself. Find a reason to keep going. I have individuals that care about me and want to follow me, but in the end, I believe I'm looking for my own son to guide me, much like Solaire. Naruto. The young man groaned and moved his gaze away from the statue to the artwork on the opposite side of the wall. How long has that been there? You were just too busy, Naruto, to notice it the whole time. Really strange. Naruto narrowed his eyes and fixed his gaze on the painting. It was a picture of a wintry scene with a castle in the distance and a lengthy rope bridge. As he approached the painting, he placed his palm on it, and his eyes widened. What is this sensation? Naruto, it is mana. Seriously, that signifies that this thing is more than just a regular painting. Kurama smirked. Congrats, Captain Obvious, you stated the obvious. Cut it, Kurama. Naruto shifted his gaze away from the painting and squinted his eyes. I think I need to talk to Gwendolyn. About what? Naruto looked back in surprise to see Gwendolyn standing there expressionless. When did you? I sensed you touched the painting, I said as I approached, and this painting is special. Yeah, I can tell by the mana that's flowing from this. Gwendolyn exclaimed, you are correct. This painting is unique. The mana is intended to keep those who dwell in it inside.
Naruto smirked. Seriously, why did they do something?
Gwendolyn examined the picture. Being born. Naruto snarled. Gwen? Only one was put there by Gwyn, and she was a young child when this happened. A young child? Wait, are you talking about Guinevere's daughter? Naruto's eyes widened.
Guinevere trembled. Yes. Gwendolyn touched the painting. This painting is the home of said child. While exploring this realm, she created her own little kingdom and invited those who were outcasts and freaks to come and live there. Most who came were those who were seen as monsters or abominations to the rest of the world. Sadly, they had no place in this world but in the painted world. They at least had a home to call their own, with her ruling over them.
Naruto bowed. Does that mean she's really inside this painting? Yes. How do I get her to come out? Gwendolyn turned to face Naruto. How could you dare? Naruto fixed his gaze on him. You said the capital is mine by right of conquest, correct? Yes. Does that mean the painted world as well, since it's in the capital? Gwyneth hissed. That is correct. Does that mean I can figure out how to get her out of this painting and make the capital her home? Gwendolyn sagged. Yes, you are the new ruler of this city, so I can't deny your points, but I also know Lord Gwyn feared her release. Something she could do terrified him, and he couldn't bear to see it come to harm his realm. Naruto shook his head and said, "Fear what you don't understand," he said, staring at the god, "and tell me how to enter this." He tapped on the artwork. Gwendolyn gave him a look and turned his head before crawling away. I can't. Gwyn's one order to me was to ensure that no one entered the painting world. Naruto opened his mouth and said, "But," Gwendolyn went on, "I do know that before she was there, she was in the undead asylum."
He continued to walk away as Naruto narrowed his gaze.
So, is there something in that prison that I can gain access to? Yes, Gwendolyn, while father is loyal to you, he is willing to help you, if not covertly, but I must thank her for keeping her promise and protecting my child. Yeah. It's time to return to jail. If I can get this object and enter the painted world, we can talk to her. Maybe, just maybe, we can offer her the liberty she was denied. Naruto groaned and walked out of the building to the flames, the firekeeper keeping a close eye on him. He touched the bonfire and immediately thought of the asylum, and he quickly found himself going through the bonfire and back in the prison. Alright, it's time to find this key. She watched as people knelt before her, praying and pleading for her help. She felt disappointed that she couldn't assist them. She was afraid that she couldn't help them and was on the receiving end of their yells and shouts. Pain coursed through her body as she continued to watch as they dreaded the approaching age ending and eventually hollowing out everyone who dared to exist. Death would not befall them. As she entered the royal room, she noticed her father seated there with a solemn expression on his face. "It is time," he said as he rose from his seat. "I have discovered a way to continue the Age of Fire." She cocked her brow. "How?" "It's simple. All I have to do is go to the cradle of the first flame and use my power to relight the first flame once more, and our age will continue, and in time others will follow in my footsteps to continue this day and age." "Father, are you sure this is wise? This person could be lying to you." He grumbled. "Unlike you, right? Huh. You think I wouldn't find out? How you were assisting Havel and the kings of New Londo? How you were planning on killing Seath all because he made you sire his child as a punishment for interfering with our country's advancement? Father, he raped me. You took my child from me out of fear. Father, he raped me. You took my child from me out of fear. Father, he raped me. He was going to go after the dragon in time. Plus he is right. How can we trust me if he was so willing to betray his own kin? It doesn't matter. He kept his end of the bargain, and I'll keep mine. Havel had already been punished for his actions, having been imprisoned in that tower near the Valley of Drakes, but you," he lamented, "you have failed to learn from the mistakes of those before you."
Because I refuse to turn a blind eye any longer. I'm tired of seeing our people suffer because you're afraid of what might happen. I'm tired of seeing my priestesses tortured and experimented on. I'm just so tired, Father. Tired of seeing this Age of Fire turn into nothing more than a nightmare because you can't accept it's coming to an end.
It will never end as long as I have a saying in it. Lightning ripped through the throne room, engulfing his throne. My age will live forever. People will follow in my footsteps. They will do what is right to protect the brightest age in all of existence, he said, storming to his feet. Brightest? I don't see that, Father. I think you're just blinded by your own light. He yelled and charged at her, and she flew into the wall in seconds. I tried being patient, hoping you'd understand. All you have to do is listen. But in the end you're just as stubborn, and I wonder where I went wrong raising both of you. He frowned. But it doesn't matter after this, because the kings of New Londo will no longer have a pawn to use. The kings? Don't fool me, dear. There is clear evidence of the occult appearing in your chambers, and I know you're in league with them. Guinevere fixed her gaze on her father. You're insane. That's all you've ever been. Damn you, brat. Soon after, he lifted lighting in his hand while Guinevere begged her father to stop, but he didn't, and the world began to darken. It is finished, he said, turning to the now fading remains, and the Age of Fire will soon continue into the next era. But first I must deal with those 4 kings. The end.
That's the end of the story, guys. Thanks for listening to this video. I hope you did enjoy this particular story, and if you did, like, share, and subscribe for more. And thank you all for helping support, and have a great day.